What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the What's Next podcast. And if I'm not mistaken, this is episode 21. And this is very special to me because when I first started this podcast, I was like, I'm going to get to episode 21. And why? Because there's a statistic that says that if you get to episode 21, you're in the top 5 or 1% of all podcasts ever made. And that is insane to me because that shows me that most people just can't stay consistent. And I was like, I'm going to get to episode 21. So here we are. We made it. That said, if you don't know who I am, my name is Dominic. And yeah, I'm an online fitness coach that basically helps busy traveling men get into the best shape of their life. But this podcast is really just to share my real life experiences, document my journey, and share my lessons. So before we get into this week's episode and this week's lessons, I want to ask you a question. What's something you've accomplished in the past that you're extremely proud of? Really think about this. Now that you have what you've accomplished in the past that you're extremely proud of, can I ask you, the first time you did that, right? Was it a little bit scary? Was there some discomfort? Like, for example, let's say basketball, right? Or even let's take myself. I'll make an analogy from myself. When I first started creating content, I was terrified. That first time I stepped into the gym and I was like, I'm going to create content. I was terrified. I had my tripod and I was sort of hiding it in my bag. And when I came out the gym, I was like holding it next to me, making sure no one sees it. And I was terrified. When I told you I was terrified, I was terrified. And guess what? I did it anyway. I pushed through. I set up the camera. I was like constantly looking, ooh, is someone watching me? And I put up the phone. I was sweating, getting all red. And it was awful. It was awful. But I pushed through it. And I don't know, 2 years later, or even 6 months later, I kind of blew up on Instagram and TikTok. And I basically started getting quite good at content. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I'm sure you have something that you're extremely proud of that you've achieved in the past. And if you look back at that, there was probably a lot of discomfort at the start. There was probably a lot of friction, but you did it anyway and you got through it. So that leads me onto my first lesson, which is outwork your self-doubt. You will have self-doubt in anything you haven't done before because obviously you haven't done it before. So there's that fear factor. Now, I know, what did I write? I know that I'll feel uncomfortable for a given time before it becomes normal. So just having that realization that, okay, it's normal to feel uncomfortable, but also realizing that if I push through that discomfort will become normal. That, like, just think about, I don't know, first time you asked out a girl or the first time you drove a car. That was uncomfortable, but now it's super comfortable. And just applying that same thinking framework to anything you want to do in life that you feel uncomfortable with. Just like, okay, I'm going to feel comfortable very, very soon. So let me push through it and let me get to the other side as quickly as humanly possible. So that is the first lesson. And you can apply this to anything you want to do in life, whether that's starting your business, creating content, asking a girl out, I don't know, trying a new thing. Like I was super afraid of dancing. And this was like 2 years ago. And I was like, fuck it. Let me sign up for hip hop classes. And I was terrified as well. And I just did it. I jumped into the deep end. And after a while, I realized everyone's in the same boat and we're all trying to just figure it out. So why limit yourself? Because fear is just made up in the mind. And you just got to get through that discomfort. And everything you want is on the other side. So outwork your self-doubt. Show up. Get through the fear regardless. And that's lesson number 1. Moving on. We all go through hard times. We all feel lost sometimes. You just got to push through. And this is coming from an experience I had this week. So I genuinely feel lost a little bit right now, especially when it comes to my content. I don't know which direction to go into. I'm genuinely a little bit confused. And obviously this is taking me courage to share. But I am a little bit confused and I am a little bit lost. And I just remind myself that, Dom, like, just push through it. You will figure it out. Like, you will. If you don't stop, you will figure it out. So if you're lost right now, just realize, like, just push through it. You will get to the other side and it will be okay. And the other thing is, I keep reminding myself, life is going to test you. Life is going to test you. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So push through the hard times. Ask yourself, how badly do you want this? Next one is short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. And this is actually something happened yesterday. It's so unexpected. And I was actually quite mad about it because I had an off day from the gym yesterday and I did my stretching. Stretching is good, by the way. Do stretching. And I was stretching and my last stretch, right? It had to be the last one, right? I somehow tweaked something. I don't know how it happened, but something at the back of my hamstring. I was like, fuck. And first I didn't think it was anything. Then I went on a walk, came back, and suddenly like it started hurting a lot. And I even struggled to walk a little bit. And I don't think it's anything major. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is because the old me would have been adamant. He would have gone to the gym today. And it would just been like, yeah, fuck it. Let's go to the gym. Let's push through. The problem with that is that the likelihood of me making it worse is quite high. So why not just take a day off? Because I really want to, like, if y'all know me, I want to make this happen. I haven't shared that yet, but I'm competing in December and it's like, fuck, I need to make this happen. So obviously I want to go to the gym, but it's like, no, take a day off, right? Make sure it's healed and then come back tomorrow. And that's just maturing. And you can apply this to anything in life, right? Like, just realize, okay, maybe there's a short-term sacrifice I need to make to get the long-term gains, whether that's financially, whether that's, I don't know, the way you allocate your time, all these things. It's the short-term sacrifices for the long-term gains. The next one is gratitude. And this goes back to some of the earlier points. Sometimes we forget how freaking blessed we are. Like, even just having clean water, having food. I come from South Africa and I grew up there. And you see people struggling to get food every single day. And that gives me an insane perspective shift. Now I'm in Slovakia right now. I don't have that around me. And sometimes I forget. And just reminding myself, bro, you fucking blessed. Like, you have nothing to complain about. Moving on. I say that a lot. Because we are moving. Next one is be real with yourself. And I had to be real with myself. I have to be transparent about this, but I lost a lot of my gains, right? And the reason for that, I won't go into too many details, but I was just being a little bitch. And I was doing things that weren't conducive to muscle growth anymore. And it was because I really liked being lean. And for some reason, I thought I had to do more cardio and eat less. And as a result, I lost my gains. And sometimes you have these moments where you just have to step back and be real with yourself. Like, what are the limiting beliefs that you are having right now? What are the stories you keep telling yourself that are holding you back? And yeah, I was telling myself a story of, I need to do cardio to be lean, which is not the case. I was afraid of, I wanted to eat more, and I was like, okay, let me do cardio. It's just a mess. And I won't go into too many details, as I said, but sometimes the lesson is like, okay, why don't I want to do something? Ask yourself, like, what's the fear? What's the limiting belief you have? And then break it down, see that it's actually, the fear is irrational, and then confront it. For example, first time you asked out a girl, right? Obviously there was fear, or guy, whatever. And if you break it down, like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's the worst thing that could happen if I ask this girl out? I don't know. Maybe she'll reject me. Cool. And then will you die? No. So, and what's the best thing that could happen? You might meet the mother of your children. So it's always like, okay, rationalizing that fear and just doing it anyway. Okay. And that is a lesson for myself. And the final one is authenticity. I don't know. Somewhere I got lost and feel like I wasn't being my authentic self. for a long time. And I just want to be me again, Dom again. And it's a big reason why I started this, because again, because I want to share me, the real me, right? And not put on some facade, or not that I was too much, but I just didn't feel like I was being my genuine self. And I want to be my genuine self. And whoever doesn't want to fuck with that, I'm okay with that, because I know people will connect with me, and the people that don't, I'm totally cool with that. And the lesson for you is be yourself. Just be yourself. Because at the end of the day, like, the only opinion that matters anyway is your own. And we're all going to die, right? We're all going to die. So why live your life according to other people's opinions? It's a reminder for myself too. We're in this together. So the action steps for myself, and feel free to, it's just, I have these action steps so that I actually apply and take action on these lessons, because we keep making the mistakes until we learn the lesson, and you actually only learn the lesson when you change your behavior. So for me, it's figure out YouTube, test, repeat, get out of your comfort zone. I'll figure out content in general, because I'm at a crossroad right now. What do I do? What direction do I want to go in? Confront it, test, repeat, figure it out, keep moving. Every morning, remind myself what I'm grateful for. And I'm just going to wake up. What are you grateful for? Amazing. Chase your dreams. Don't let limiting beliefs or fear hold you back. We're going to die. Confront it. Analyze it. Have a look at it. Break it down. See that it's irrational. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. I promise you. When you're 80 and you look back at your life, let me ask you, like, what will you be more afraid of? The thing you didn't do, or the thing you did do and gave it a shot? Which one will you regret? Probably the thing you didn't do. So do it. Create real, authentic content. Content I would want to watch. And this is a lesson for me, but for you, it would be just be yourself, right? In whatever you want to do. Dress the way you want to dress. Talk the way you want to talk. Be you. Be unapologetically you. Because again, we're all going to die. So those are the lessons from this week. And I'll see you guys in the next one.